On YouTube, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Prodigy, and really excited about today's video. Got something different for you guys. We're going to dive into my eBay watch list. I'm going to go over some nostalgic items, some good investment items I think you guys will really like, and just stuff that I've just really liked and think is worth adding to my collection or multiples of. So if you haven't yet, like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that fun stuff. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump in here. Got 69 items here. No pun intended there. But these are all the watch list items that I think are the best investments at the moment. And I'm sure there's a few others on the site, but these are the best ones and that I see. So let's go ahead and jump in. First thing we got here is a Live with the Nightmare first edition blister. I think this is in really good condition. For blisters, the biggest thing you have to worry about is the hanger part here is usually bent on a lot of them from back in the day. But price point wise, it's not terrible. Blisters have went up over the last year. I think this is more closer to the $275 range personally. But if you're trying to complete LB to AST original blisters, that's probably one of the few you're going to find on the market at the moment. So it might be good to look into. 28 people watching it, so a lot of interest in that. One thing you'll notice too, I always try to get close to 100% feedback on sellers. Best, at least from being on eBay for 13 years as a buyer and seller, I've just noticed that, and it's not always the case, but most of the time, 100% positive feedback. You're gonna have a good experience when you get the item, etc. But I think a really good investment item right there. Next one we got here, I'm very surprised this is still on the market. I think this is a really, really cool nostalgic item. Obviously, you have Eric Stewart and Dan Green, the original actors from the original show, signed autographs. $250. It's been on the market for a little bit of time. I would personally prefer around the 200 range, but because the item is something you don't really see often unless you go to the events to meet them and get their autographs, I think this is a really cool nostalgic set to add to your collection. So be very surprised if this doesn't sell soon. It'd be really cool to have, actually. Next thing we got here, we got some LB blisters. The seller, Propstein123, you guys have, he's got a lot of heat on him lately with selling resealed booster boxes. I don't really think you have anything to worry about on the LB blisters. These look in immaculate condition. And it's really hard to reseal blisters, or if you can, you just need to watch out for usually the bottom, some type of glue issue or something. But I think you should be fine on this. It's usually the boxes you have to worry about with Propstein. Next item we got here, Duels of the Roses, PS2 game, sealed. We got the Magnum Warriors. I do have one of these, but if anything, I would like to get another one. Like to maybe open one, grade them myself. They usually grade pretty easily, PSA 10s, what I've noticed. Price point wise, I think this is closer to around the 300 range personally, but there isn't really too many on the market. And if you're a sealed video game collector, it might be worth paying that little extra on an item like this. Next item we got here, first edition Invasion Chaos booster pack. Any packs on eBay you find, it's going to be kind of tough to find unweighed. Little bit of blurry picture here, but 100%, or well, not 100, but 98% feedback. It's not terrible. Doesn't really say anything on. I'm assuming it's probably a light pack though. But if you ever are going to buy a loose pack, message the seller and say, hey, as simply as, is the pack weighed? Is it unweighed? And then maybe try to base your opinion on that. But really hard to buy loose packs. You'll get lucky now and then, though. Metal Raiders First Edition Booster Pack, 200 range. It's not a terrible price point. I would prefer around 150. But I've seen a few sell up in the 275 range, so it just really depends. Be careful on those, just like any of the other LV to ST booster packs. You just want to get them from a reliable seller, of course, if possible. First edition North American English, Blue Eyes White Dragon. Way overpriced on this card, but I do like to watch each one of these to see if they do sell, where they're at on price point wise. I think this is more in the 1,500, 2,000 range, personally. Crash Card Virus, PSA 9 from the Gold Series. Since most people can't really afford the Shonen Jump prize card for this, especially you've seen the price point on the PSA 10. A few of those at hitting six-figure range, or at least listing wise. I'm not really sure if that's really sold at the price point, but this is the next best thing, I think. PSA 9. I don't believe there's a PSA 10 for the Gold Series on this, but very nostalgic item, Kaiba used. Really cool card, and it being the Gold Series has that extra shine to it. I think it's really cool. Next item we got here, the Volume 2 Shonen Jump magazine. Has the Red Eyes Black Dragon promo card in it. I don't have one of these in my collection at the moment, but I'd like to pick one up. I still think 300 is a little too much. I'd prefer around the 200 range as well in an item like that, but we'll just have to see. Next, we got the Toon Blister Collector's Rare. Really cool nostalgia card from Toon Chaos. I think 1,200 is too much, though. I would prefer this around the 700 range, but there's not really too many for sale. But I do like how the photo pops really well. These guys take really good pictures. 100% feedback. Collector's 9, though, does have a lot of high-end cards I've noticed on eBay for sale. Good card overall. I think long-term, this is a really good pickup. Considering you can't really pull a collector's rare in every box. And then grading it, you see a lot of off-center cards on this specific set for the collector's rare. So lots of people watching this item. It wouldn't surprise me if that sells soon as well, but I think this is still overpriced. Master Collection Volume 1, you've seen a huge uptick in pricing on these. Obviously, the Master Collection 2 is more rare, but these were sitting at $200 last year, and then now the big jump in price point, right in the $500 range. Just a lot of interest. Pretty sure you can thank a couple Yu-Gi-Tubers for that going up in price. Next thing we got here, first edition LB pack, way overpriced, $2,500. Even if it is considered heavy, obviously you can't really, base a heavy pack on glossy packs. Wavy packs, you can somewhat. But I think even being a heavy pack should be more and closer to the 1,000 range. Light packs are selling for $400 and $500. So, don't overpay on something like this. I would prefer to get a pack like this through the Yu-Gi-Oh community on Instagram. I think you get a lot better price point. Definitely look into that. Retro Pack 2 sealed, $800. You see a huge uptick in price on these. You can thank Ruxin and Rhyme Style on that, doing their little their openings on those. And just a lot of demand for these RP2 secret rares and anything RP1, any of those really sought after. Trying to pull the blue eyes and the shiny blue eyes in that set. That's eventually I'd love to get that. If you guys saw the plain opening, we opened this and pulled some good cards, but not the one we wanted, of course. But I think this is long term, great investment. You don't see these often, and there's getting less and less because everyone's opening them. So it makes sense. The value is just going to go higher on that specific set. Next thing we got here, Yu-Gi's World Collection 3. Two different versions. Obviously, this is the first edition version. You could tell just by it actually has the card and not the Unlimited just has a picture of the card. But this is the one everybody wants. I've been saying these sell for around the $550, $600 range. So slightly overpricing, but very hard to actually find these. Very, very rare set, I think. LB blisters, these, I didn't really mention on the previous two, but like price point wise on these were selling for $500 a few months ago. I saw 2 sold listings on that. You guys saw my story on Instagram on that. But these have been selling for $175 to $200 range lately. I do like to watch each one of these just to see where they're at, and depending, sometimes the seller will send you like a best offer, and then you can counter that. But this should be in the 200 range right now. Legendary Collection Volume 1, or just Legendary Collection 1. But this set, I think's a really awesome set. I remember they sold these at Target, and I picked up a few, and we opened one of these on the channel a while back. But I think it's still an awesome set. Good thing to have in your collection. Not really too crazy in prices. I think perfect price would be about $100 for this item, but 130 is not really too crazy or too off on price point. Magician's Force First Edition Blister Pack, one of the more rare packs to find for the blisters from LB to AST. I'd say this is top 3 rarest pack to find, or actually maybe 2. AST hands down is going to be your rarest one, but for MFC, way overpriced. I think this is more in like the $700 range, probably half this amount, but because there's so few on the market and so few out there, a lot of people watching it. Eventually, I'm sure they'll drop the price, or you can make a best offer there. But no way that'll sell for that amount. The only item that's not Yu-Gi-Oh related in my watch list, you guys know, obviously, big fan of the posters. This is the original poster from Pokemon the movie in 1999. $200. It's not a crazy price. I think that's more in the $150 range personally, but that's what they make best offers there for. Another Legendary Collection game board. Like I said, I'm a big fan of those. I think this is a great price point. Then we got the double Magician's Force Blister Pack here. I think this should be closer to a 200 range. When you're paying on eBay here with taxes, you're almost up to 275. So overpriced. This should be around 200 range, I think, market value. But unlimited. I don't believe they ever made this in first edition, or if they have, I've never seen a double blister first edition from MFC. You see them for IOC, but I don't think I've seen one for MFC. But yeah, if there is one out there, I'd really like to see it. Send me a pic of that on Instagram. It'd be nice. Appreciate that. Some ILC first edition blisters. I think price point on these should be closer to 300. So not a crazy outrageous price, but $100 off is I think a better price point range. We've got Kaiba Evolution Starter Deck, SKE, PSA 10. You don't really see these for sale often. Awesome nostalgic card though, and it's in the new PSA casing. I think this one's probably closer to 1,800, 2,000 range personally. But still, I think this is the only one on eBay at the moment. So, another first edition North American English Blue Eyes. Condition on it, it's not terrible, but the price point, when PSA 8s are selling for 4,000 to 5,000 range, I don't think that would grade an 8, or if it did, obviously you got this huge issue on the left side there. That's gonna, if it wasn't for that, yeah, it'd probably get a pretty good grade, but that's causing the issue. 3,500 is way overpriced. Legendary Duelist, I would never open this set. It just wouldn't really interest me, but I think as a seal collector, I think this is a really cool box, just the front of it. I like Maya from the show, and I think it's price point wise, it's not bad. $200. I'd prefer $175, but we always want lower prices. Let's go to the next slide here. I got another Shonen Jump Red Eyes Black Dragon promo magazine. I do want to pick up one of these. I think, like I was saying earlier, closer to the 200 range, what I'd prefer on something like that. Chaos Emperor Dragon first edition PSA 10. The price isn't terrible. I think probably more around $5,000 ish, 5,500. But I really want this card eventually in the future. Not this specific one graded, because there's a lot of I'm kind of OCD when it comes to PSA 10 cards, but there's a lot of issues going on this side here, this corner, and a couple issues. Which this is amazing that this has got a PSA 10. And some of the cards I submitted were 10 times better than this. I'm kind of salty over that. The Monster Reborn, you guys remember that? I'll have to regrade that. But let's go to the next thing here. We got Sacred Cards, sealed video game. These were selling for $60 last year. And then, you've seen a double price point. I don't think 150. I think 150 is too much. I think around 100, 120 range. Let's just say 100. I think it's fair. But this is really cool. This guy's got a whole box of them. I think that is really, really cool. Case fresh. So that would be a lot. That's what seal collectors want. They want the best, mintiest boxes. And, it might actually be worth paying a slightly overpriced just because it's in mint condition. Next, we got a SGC Unlimited Blue Eyes. Not to hate on SGC. Obviously I prefer PSA or BGS. Not a terrible company at all. That's just my preference. If you're buying slabs, it's just better resale value on PSA. My motto has always been always buy PSA slabs, PSA 10s, whatever. And then if you're going to grade, you got to go with BGS. They're just so harsh. In my experience lately on PSA, it's kind of getting out of hand. But we'll worry about that in another video. We'll talk about that. Another Yugioh's World Legendary Collection. First edition. Like I said, very rare, but overpriced. It should be in the 600 range. We've got Magician's Force first edition. It's technically 8 packs, and then this other pack here. I would just want, obviously, the first 8. And this is, I believe, one of my followers, Collector's Conundrum. It's not a bad price point. You're looking around 300 a pack. I would prefer to reach out to him to see if they're unweighed or not, or even, look at those options. But not a terrible price point. I would, prefer to not have to pay the tax on this on eBay. So if you're going to buy something like that, probably reach out to him on Instagram. Next ones we got here, we've got a couple of the Spirit Messages. I do want to pick these up. I have the Destiny board, PSA 10. I do eventually want to get the rest of the letters here. The only issue is buying these right now is pretty much impossible because this seller's in Australia, and you guys know right now you can't ship really to Australia. But price point wise on those, it's not really terrible. Last 6 months I had a few different offers of around 150 range for each letter. Should have picked those up, but you know how it goes. We got another first edition heavy pack, or they claim heavy pack here on the scale. I still think even if it's heavy or not, way overpriced considering light packs are selling for 500. I think closer to 1,000 range if it's heavy would make more sense. Metal Raiders first edition Blister. These are getting actually pretty rare. Top 4 out of Elevate AST blisters for rarity. Price point wise, I think this is closer to 500 range personally. Another first edition North American English Blue Eyes. I try to watch each one of these. This one's kind of in pretty heavy played condition. But I always like to see where they're at on prices wise. Or at least hoping a seller will give me a best offer that's too good to say no to. Got a couple more first edition LOB booster packs here. This one's not really terrible pricing, around $750 each. Like I said, I prefer around 500. Seen a few sales for that. I even saw one sell for 400. So, but yeah, if anything, anything LOB I think is a gold mine. You can quote me on this, guys. I think the next 3 to 4 months you're going to see big uptick in LOB, and you'll understand what I mean by that later. AST blister here. There's unlimited, considering you cannot really find the first edition blister for this. This is the next best thing. I had one, sold it, but finding one in first edition is near impossible. And a few collectors even believe that there wasn't a first edition blister made for this, that it was just an error pack. And I've only seen 2 myself, and obviously I purchased one and sold it. But because of the code on the back is only from the unlimited, I had a pretty good lengthy talk with Gezi about that. It's really hard to, I feel like it's a lot of speculation on it. I'd really love to know the answer from Konami though. Was it really a first edition AST, or was it just an error? But I do know the ones that I've inspected and the one that I had was fully factory sealed. There's no tampering with it at all, but it did have the unlimited barcode on the back, which eventually I'd like to get to the bottom of that, see what's going on there. Next thing we got another Yugioh's Legendary Collection. We got another AST blister here. MFC blisters, I think 175 range. It's not terrible pricing. Legacy of Darkness booster box, first edition. I think these are, I mean, it's not a terrible price really. With tax you're looking $3,000 though. So I'd prefer around $2,000 on that item if I was purchasing. Another Metal Raiders blister. I think this should be right in the 500 range, so not a bad price point. Prefer 400, of course, if buying. Big fan of the the first edition empty boxes. This is way overpriced though. I've bought a few of these at around the 100, 125 range, but I still like to watch that, see where it goes. Another LOB blister here, 350. This is from Strictly here. Like I said, they're selling for around 175 at the moment. I'm sure he'd give you a pretty good deal on it. But when it's going for 500 and then the big drop in price point going to around 175 to 200 range is where I would say realistic pricing on it. Toon Harpy Lady here. We have PSA 10 collector's rare. I did pull this in the very first pack. If you guys saw that video, really cool. But this is a very hard card to grade. The few that I've seen out there are off-centered, but this is really, really awesome. Toon Chaos. I think this is going to be a, just like the other anything in Toon Chaos Collector's Rares PSA 10s. I think it's a really good investment. Obviously, you can't pull the Collector's Rare in every box, so it just makes sense to, and just the artwork on it. It looks really good. I think a really good investment. Another LB blister. I like this one because it's got the sticker on it. Overpriced, of course. PSA 6, $4,000 range. For eBay pricing, it's not terrible. But, if you're going to buy a slab for Blue Eyes right now, hands down, go in the Yu-Gi-Oh community and you get a lot better pricing. I know Vintage was selling one for $4,000. I think it was PSA 8, which is amazing price. I'm sure he sold that pretty quickly. Another AST blister, and then the biggest thing here on first edition Ancient Sanctuary boxes, big dip in price. These were selling $2,200 just a few months ago, and then you see $1,000 drop in price. I have 3 of these boxes myself. I think long term they'll go back up, of course, but it's just one of the few sets that's just not as sought after. To me, it's very nostalgic though. It's one of the original 11 sets. But you just don't see, you're not seeing these sell lately. It'd be a good time to pick these up. I think long term, you're going to see an uptick in price as well. Just a year ago, these were selling, a year and a half ago, they were selling for like $300-400, and then 3Xing and then 6Xing. Your price point, good investment. I think long term, pick this up for a great price right now. Let's go to the last page here. LB Repackage Blister, first edition. Obviously, these are unweighed, so very nostalgic. Way overpriced, though. In the last year, I was buying these for $500 each, and then up to $800. I think the most I paid for one was $1,000. But now these are selling, I would say, fair pricing, half that, so $1,500. Great investment, though. I think anything LB's gold right now. And then the Red Eyes Shonen Jump magazine sealed with the Red Eyes promo. Been watching these. I want to pick up one eventually to go with my Volume 1 as well. Or, with Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 1, etc. Another LB blister. This is really cool. You guys know I'm a big fan of the posters. Asian LB poster. This is way overpriced, though. This would be more in the range if this was an English poster. But I think value-wise, this should probably be around $600-700. Want to see where that ends up. I'm sure it'll eventually sell, but nowhere near that price point. I don't see that happening. Legendary Collection binder, really nostalgic item. I think this is a pretty undervalued set, actually. I think this should be more in the 200 range, but really cool. Just like some of the other Legendary Collections, you get the 6-packs. get the promos. But really cool set and very nostalgic. I think it's a good pickup. Now this, I think of everything on my watch list, this is the best deal on the market at the moment. $2,400 for an Asian first edition LB booster box, factory sealed. Cheapest one I've seen in last year was $4,000. So $2,400. You're looking with tax around $2,550, I believe. But I think this is a very undervalued set. I'd be very surprised if this is on eBay for another 2-3 weeks. Few watchers here, but I don't know if everyone's seen this listing. But this great investment right here. You're only going to see that go up in price. Another Invasion of Chaos booster pack. Just be careful when it's loose packs. Always try to reach out to the seller before buying anything like that. Hey, what does it weigh, or do you know, or see what their response is, get a better understanding. A couple unlimited blisters here, MFC. I think that's a fair price point, very fair. I do like that this got this really cool barcode from it, and then the stickers on it. Anything MFC though, solid. Got a Magic Ruler first edition Asian box, a little bit higher than the LOB, but since there's not many on the market, it's not a terrible price point. Magic Ruler blister here, first edition. This is one of the top 5 out of LOB to AST on rarity for blisters. Not a terrible price point. Prefer around $275 though. Long term though, I think it's a really solid investment though. The blisters have really jumped in price lately. We got a light played North American English Blue Eyes. Just have this in their watch list just to see where it ends up at. Wouldn't buy it at that price point, obviously. But still, nostalgic item to watch. Another LB blister. Master Collection Volume 2. Super rare item. These were selling for $400 just last year. I bought a bunch of these on TCG Player a while back, and they were selling just $400, and they had it on there for that price point for like 6 months. And I just kept buying one. I ended up like with 5 of them, and then traded a few of them out. But man, big jump in price. 2xing your money there. Another legendary collection I'm watching. First edition Magician's Force booster packs loose. I prefer around 175 range, 200, even slightly less than that, especially if it's a light pack. And next thing we got here, another Duelist of the Roses video game. This one's the greatest hits version. So there's 2 different versions, so obviously for sealed collectors, you'd want to have both. And it's got a really cool barcode here too. Always like the barcodes from different stores and stuff. I think that makes it really more nostalgic as well. Another one of the magazines. I won't go much into those again. But just big fan of the factory sealed Volume 1 and 2. Blue Eyes and Red Eyes. Awesome nostalgic cards. And, especially if you can, the hardest thing obviously is getting them, graded in PSA 10. I prefer to buy the slab versus opening it and grade it on these. It's just a lot. There's so many issues with that. If someone damaged the book or the magazine, if it's just been sitting out or whatever. And then the last thing, a PSA 5 first edition LOB Blue Eyes. Just watching that item. But all 69 items here, guys. These are everything that I'm watching at the moment. I think are great investments. I don't think anything that I've showed you guys today would be a bad investment. These are all very nostalgic items, very items that are very rare. You're going to see an uptick in price, I believe. And, it's very sought after stuff here. It's very stuff from the original show. These are my personal preferences, so take the investment advice, however you'd like. I don't want you guys to go out and be like, oh, Prodigy said to buy this, and then all of a sudden I lost all my money. Don't want that to happen. I'm just trying to give you guys my point of view on it and what I think is going to be a great long-term investment for Yu-Gi-Oh! And these are the items that I prefer and, like to pick up. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Love to hear the comments down below. Tell me if you guys like seeing stuff like this, and hope my price points weren't too off for you guys. But just off the top of my head, I think this is where I was at on price-wise. So hope you guys enjoyed, and until the next video, guys, Yu-Gi-Oh! Prodigy, signing out.